Hey, my name is Vince Greenwald. I'm an English teacher at East Nashville Magnet High School, and I am a first semester teacher. I started teaching in January. I graduated from college in December. Started teaching at age 21, which was crazy. Had 145 students this semester and really had an awesome semester in the classroom. Learned a lot, the kids learned a lot, developed some really tremendous relationships, and yet made some mistakes, and would really love to give a talk at the new teacher training this summer just to help people learn from the mistakes that I made so they don't have to make them. And I think that the talk could be really cool. So I'm going to give you a little sample of what I would end up talking about this summer, and I hope you like it. Thank you. I just started doing this teaching thing and had a really good first semester, developed good relationships with my students, and they learned some, and it was really good. But I made a few mistakes, and that's really what I want to talk to you guys about today. We don't have a lot of time, so I just want to talk about two specific mistakes that I made this semester so that hopefully you guys can learn from these, and so that you guys don't have to make these same mistakes. Dakaya, one of my students in my 8th block class, comes through the door. It's 8th block, and she goes, "Mr. Greenwald, I'm not giving my speech today." And I go, "Dakaya, you're giving your speech today, or you're taking a 2-grade deduction." And I'm being all tough. A new teacher's got to be tough to preserve his street cred, all that stuff. So I say, "Dakaya, yeah, you are giving your speech. If not, you're taking a 2-grade deduction." And she says, "Mr. Greenwald, no, I'm not. I'm not giving my speech." And I say, "Dakaya, yes, you are. You are giving your speech." And she said, "No, I'm not." And I see her face is different. It's not defensive. I'm trying to be difficult. She's really down, and there's something different about this. So I call her over. I stop being rude. That's always a good idea as a teacher. Stop being rude to your students. Call the student over, and I asked Dakaya, "What's up?" And she looked at me, and through tears, she said, "Mr. Greenwald, my speech was about my cousin, who is my mentor and my role model. And my cousin died last night." And what this story, I think, illustrates, the reason I bring it up, is because we as teachers never understand the battles that our students face outside our school. So this first mistake I made, and it's one that I just plead that you guys don't make, because it's really easy to, but it's really devastating when we do, is don't forget about the battles that our students are facing outside these school walls. The second mistake that I want to talk about is a little bit different. This past semester, I did not do a good job of celebrating the wins in the classroom. What I mean by that, celebrating the wins, is probably best illustrated by another story. I had a student named Ramon who was kind of an outcast. He moved here from Egypt 2 years prior, and his first speech, it was an about me speech. He got up there and he kind of said, "Hey, I'm Ramon. I like playing soccer, and I don't have any friends. No one will be my friend." And Ramon and I kind of developed a relationship after that. I called him over to my desk after class got out and I said, "Ramon, you've got a friend in this building. His name is Mr. Greenwald. I'm really glad you're in my class this semester." And we kind of just developed this relationship. A few weeks later, Ramon wrote me a note. It says, "Thank you, Mr. G, for always pushing me to try harder and always believing in me and being my teacher and a close friend." And I read this note. It's just a few lines, but it's, oh my gosh, it's probably the most encouraging note I got this semester. But what I did when I got that note was I said, "Wow, that's really nice." And I set it down, and I kept lesson planning. I didn't do anything else. And then it got buried under some papers, and really it hasn't been until I started working on this talk that this note came back to my mind. And when I started thinking about what do new teachers need to hear before they go into profession, I think that the message of celebrating the wins of this profession is really, really important, because this past semester I didn't celebrate the wins properly. When Ramon wrote me that note, what I should have done is I should have immediately called up my wife and I should have said, honey, Ramon just wrote me the sweetest note. And I should have read it to her on the phone, and then that night we should have gone down to Broadway and we should have gotten a Coca-Cola or a Sprite to celebrate. Teaching is a hard profession, and it's also a discouraging one at times. There can be really, really low moments in this profession. Just days where you don't feel like any difference is being made. So what I encourage you guys to do is don't make my mistake of not celebrating the wins. When you have a breakthrough with a student, when you get a note or something like that, you have to celebrate that. Take some time, say, this is why I'm doing this, and be encouraged by that.